Ah, gentle viewers, our young lovers embark upon their honeymoon. They play an awful lot of whist. Way more than we needed to see, in fact. Miss Shonda Rhimes, give us some credit, dear. We do have imaginations, you know. Yes, so they play whist in the garden, they play whist in the bedroom, they play whist in the library, they play whist in the rain. What do you think, dear? Have I missed any? Well, we are the Sisters Sanditon, and today we will be reviewing episode 6 of the hit series, Bridgerton. And as you can see, we have
dressed down this evening.
Yes, we're dressed a little differently.
Yes, a little departure from our norm.
Reminiscent of the boudoir.
Yeah, scenes.
Yes, plural.
Yes, much plural, yes. Well, felicitations are in order for the happy couple. Yes, the scene opens with them cuddling in their carriage, and they're on their way home from to Cliveden House.
Yes.
Right, and they just look so happy.
They do. It's young love, right?
Yes.
And Lady Whistledown says they will need stamina, and boy, is she right.
Yes.
Right. This will be an easy episode to review because the majority of it is spent playing whist.
Exactly. Not much
dialogue. We don't
dialogue.
need to say much about that, do we?
No.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's talk about the house.
Yes, this house is so beautiful. It is just jaw-dropping. And she walks in and I'm sure she's thinking, she was in a beautiful house.
And the man too.
Yes.
Doesn't get any better than that. Right?
No, it is beautiful.
Yes.
And a little bit probably... Intimidating.
Maybe,
Thank you.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for.
But did you notice that the housekeeper says she has a tour planned for them? And
yes.
he
I
says
got lunch and a tour, and he goes, I'm sorry, I have other plans for my wife.
What could those be?
I'm sure the staff knew, and a little bit...
Well, he tells her they're not going to have separate rooms right away, and he picks her up and
carries her over the threshold.
They're having so much fun.
Yes.
Young love, once again. They're in the honeymoon stage.
Yes.
In every sense of the word, right?
Right. And meanwhile, back in London, Eloise is still fighting against the norms of society.
Yes.
And, what is expected of her.
That's right.
But her mother tells her she needs to...
the time has come.
The time has come for her to be out in society.
Yes.
And she's going to lengthen her skirts, which she did not want.
Right. Because she's busy discovering...
She's busy trying to discover the identity of Lady Whistledown.
Correct.
By the Queen, nonetheless. She's been charged by the Queen.
And she doesn't want to go out in society anyway. But Colin, now... He is going to make his announcement about his forthcoming marriage to Marina. We see that they're outdoors at a scene.
Yes.
And he says, I have an announcement, and the Bridgerton family are all shocked, right?
Yes.
But they put on a nice face. They say, just
people
smile,
are watching.
dear, that type of thing. And Anthony, of course, is not upset. And in fact, they go back to the house, and he's raking Colin over the coals and says, I should have taken you to a brothel. And,
wait, Anthony's not upset?
He is upset.
I'm sorry, I think you said he's not upset.
No, he is upset.
He is upset.
And he takes him back home and says, I should have taken you to a brothel.
Yes.
You're just sowing your wild oats type of thing,
Yes.
He can't imagine that anyone, Colin says, you can't imagine that anyone could actually just be in love.
Right,
I
actually am in
love. He cannot fathom a true attachment. He is.
He's a sweet guy. He has good intentions.
I love him.
Yes.
But Anthony does not give his blessing, right?
No. And we cut back to Daphne and Simon.
Yes.
In bed.
Where else?
Where else, of course. And she's insisting, I have to get up. I've got to go and start my day. And, I've got to go and meet the housekeeper. I've got to do my duty.
Woman than I tell you that, my dear. You couldn't drag me away with wild horses.
From the bedside of such a duke.
That's right. Not your fan.
Yes.
Well,
I've lost my place.
Yes.
I was thinking about the...
Here, I'll fan him. Well, the servants come,
Yes.
and they tell him that they've prepared his study for work.
Right.
And he says, I'm on my honeymoon, for goodness sake.
But there's, things have been neglected. And so
and he needs to get back to work. But Daphne's on her tour with the housekeeper, right? And she shows that she knows her history. Because the housekeeper's pointed out some things about the family. She says, oh, yes, my sister likes history, and I know a little bit. And she's kind of
she's
a little impressed and a little shocked,
But she's still giving her sideways glances at every turn.
Oh, yes. And she shows her the picture of the late Duchess, right? And kind of looks at her like, you're sorely lacking.
Right.
She was perfect, and you're not. And
Yes.
then she takes her to the nursery, and Daphne's like, moving right along.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a little bit uncomfortable there.
Well, the Duke comes in from dinner.
Right. And it's such a cute scene. They're sitting across from each other at that, with those really long tables.
Yes,
like
with all
back
the
in
distance between them.
the fancy houses.
I love this. Just his simple words, you're so far away.
It's so sweet.
And it's just like when you're in love and you just want to be near each other, right? You want to be near each other all the time.
So she picks up her plate and moves
darling,
right down, and the housekeeper
looks
and is like, what's going on in here? This is not done. This is not proper,
And then she tells him she wants to redecorate, but are you going to be okay with that? She probably have a lot of memories in this place. And he's like, She doesn't know. No, I don't have any memories.
You can paint it hot pink, flamingo pink if you want.
Yes.
It was very funny.
Great. And then, of course, he tells her she doesn't need to dress so formal.
Yes.
And he takes off her glove, and once again, the servants their eyes are getting bigger.
It's her dream come true. Remember the dream?
That's
He took off her glove.
And so they skip dinner.
Yes.
All together, right? They run outside, and so begin the many games of whist.
Yes.
And it starts to rain, and they run to the beautiful little building,
yes.
which is called a folly in England.
And what is a folly?
Well, it's like a smaller building, but it's not actually used for something, it's not really serving a purpose.
Sort of just decorative. Yes. Well, this scene was a bit much for me. I mean, they get naked and you can see so much. It borders on softcore porn, I mean, it was like, it was too much. We didn't need to see it.
And as I said, leave some to the imagination. We don't need to see I'll leave it there.
Yes.
And Taylor Swift song, Wildest Dreams, is playing, right?
Tangled up play.
All night, burning it down. You don't say. It's getting hot in here. Yes, I thought a lot of this was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, A, because we didn't need to see it, and B, because you would not be doing that in front of servants.
Can you imagine on the lawn with the whole entire household looking out at you?
In the library. I mean, come on. They gave the servants quite a show, I'll give you that.
Yes, they were all giggling at the door.
The servants probably hadn't had so much fun in many a year. And even the housekeeper gets a listen in,
Yes, so but it was just...
They're having a grand old time.
We didn't need to see it all.
No, we didn't.
A little bit was fine.
Yes, but we get a lot of shots of his derriere.
Yes.
Not that I'm complaining.
That's true. Well, okay, so later on, Daphne confides in Rose, her maid.
Yes.
When she's brushing her hair, that, our activities are quite spirited. Yeah. I had to rewind this, because I didn't realize at first. She was like, she was combing out, her hair got all tangled up.
Yes.
And so her hair was all in knots from her romping around. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And she even uses the word entanglements. She says, I didn't know. I thought his physical,
she thought that his physical limitations would preclude him from playing whist at all.
Right.
She just doesn't have any idea what's going on.
Right. But she's very happy to say that she was wrong. That's all she knows.
Yeah.
She's happy.
Yeah.
Well, we finally
unaware.
Yes, we finally come back up for air. And we're back in London town, and they tell Colin that his engagement is in Lady Whistledown. Well, the mother's not happy about this. She says, well, at least I found out before Lady Whistledown. This is all happening so quickly, too quickly. Mm-hmm. Penn, of course, is not happy.
She's not happy.
Right, at the Featherington household.
Right. Marina tries to pay her a little compliment. Oh, Penn, you're she's like, don't patronize me. Yeah. Don't lie to me. Don't mock me. That's what she says. Don't mock me. And Penn she's ticked and the claws come out. I've never seen her quite so feisty.
No, she's mad. But, she doesn't condone Marina's actions.
No.
And Marina heads off.
Right.
To the modiste
to go get her trousseau.
Yes. And the Featherington sisters crack me up right here because they're sitting at the table.
Yes.
Philippa, and I don't remember what the other one's name is, but
Prudence.
They're sitting there, and she says, oh, she's so lucky she gets a new dresses and a new husband, and their baby will be beautiful. And her sister says, Colin's not the father, you idiot, And
I forgot. And they're just laughing at it.
They're having a giggle time.
They think it's hilarious, and poor Penn is back there just in agony.
She's really struggling through this. And
she loves him.
You can see it. It's killing her,
Not only, I don't even think it would be as bad if he found a wonderful woman that he fell in love with and that she was a good woman.
But she knows he's being duped.
Yes. So it's like a double blow for her, right?
And Eloise now is at the modiste.
Right. She's also at the modiste.
Dropping
her hems. And the Featheringtons arrive and, we'll be so happy. We're going to be joining families forever.
Right.
I don't think the mother's that happy that they're joining families forever. It's a little bit of a step down. Yes. Right. And the modiste, takes them back. Oh, well, she comes in and she's like, you must see to us now. Like, they're more important.
Right,
okay.
Right.
And, she takes back, she's like, I'm sorry, I can't extend you any more credit.
Right.
No more downs until your bill is paid.
Yes.
And, she says, well, you'll be paid as soon as they get married.
Yes.
Because, we're marrying these.
She won't hear of it. No, sorry.
Well, Marina.
She plays her little ace.
Yes. And she starts speaking French. Yes. And she goes, my mother was French. I know a false accent, basically, when I hear it. You're not French. This is all a ruse. And I'm going to spill the beans and tell your story to the whole town.
Marina does not pull any punches.
No, unless you pay for our... unless you do our gowns.
So you might want to shut your mouth, give me the gowns.
Right. And I think we were talking earlier about, why would she put on this false accent?
Yeah,
You know?
I asked you that. Well, why?
Yes.
Why did she put on the false accent?
Well, it's because it's exotic, and she knows that she can dupe these well-to-do people who think they're so great
French
and they're so
fashion
high and mighty.
is at
Right.
the height of everything, right?
And instead of, sort of a low-class...
Yes,
coming in,
the Cockney accent that we heard
Right.
her give one time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what you want to hear when you go to the modiste.
No.
Well,
So
next we see the fair, right? And we have Daphne and Simon.
Yes.
And Daphne makes a faux pas here, and she allows all the pigs to go free, which ends up, we find out later, is a bad thing because the farmers lose out on money because they supply the pigs for the family, and so that's a whole big mess.
It's a whole big problem.
But
Simon didn't even know.
No, but the thing that I liked here is that Daphne interacts with children.
Yes.
And she's natural around them. Simon sees this, interaction, and Daphne keeps looking longingly at the child. I mean, it's only been a few days, girl. My goodness. Enjoy the honeymoon while you've got it. You know what it's like when you have children. Well, she doesn't, but...
They didn't know back then. That's all they wanted to do. Right away, straight away, have children.
Yeah, I just kept thinking, slow down.
Yeah,
girl.
take it easy. Those of us who have children know.
Right.
So take your time.
Well, anyway, she gets along well with all the people.
Yes.
And Simon says that he's unaware that the rents have been tripled because the people say, yeah.
Right.
But it was strange. Did you notice that one farmer said, but the old Duke, he was good to us. You know, he gave us
always
what
took
we
care
needed.
of us.
And I thought, that old
jerk?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a mean guy.
And he makes him out to seem like he's wonderful. So I thought that was strange, and I wonder if that will ever come back up again.
I was also surprised.
I didn't get that part.
For him to be so mean to his son and the best landlord or something. Like, okay. That seemed odd.
Strange.
Yes. Then we see Daphne and the Duke on their little walk home.
Yes.
And, she's saying, well, I hope it didn't pain you too much to see me with the children.
Right.
And, because she knows
and he says, no, I hope it didn't pain you too much to know that, I'm not going to have children.
And she says, well, children are the easiest company. She loves children.
Says you're natural.
Yes. They're the easiest company in the world. And,
And she is. But she comforts him and says, well, don't worry. I've got tons of brothers and sisters. We'll have nieces and nephews running everywhere.
Uncles and aunts. And he's thrilled.
Yeah, and he says,
couldn't
what
be
have I
happier,
done?
right?
How did I get you? He says something like, that you're just
so happy.
You're content with our life as it is.
Yes.
But we know that she doesn't know the whole story. So she is content, but she doesn't know the whole story.
She's content with what she thinks is her predicament.
Yes. And back at the Featherington house now, Lady Featherington tells Marina to swish. That is the name of this episode. Did you notice that?
Very
when
clever.
She comes down the stairs in her new gown. She says swish.
She wants to make sure that
she's the bump showing.
The bump.
Right? And Penn
Lucky for her, she's in a imperial waist.
Exactly.
It's a perfect fashion
perfect
for the
way
time.
to hide it.
Yes.
Well, Penn laughs and says, you're not going to get away with this. Colin's mother's no idiot. She's had how many children?
Yeah, 7,
8, 9?
Yeah.
I don't know. And next we see them all having dinner, right? And Marina says it's an ambition of hers to travel because they're like, oh, have you ever traveled? Well, no, but I'd like to now. Because she knows Colin wants to travel. And Lady Featherington says maybe a honeymoon to foreign parts.
Yes.
And they should marry sooner rather than later because of the good weather.
But she's not pulling the wool over anyone's eyes.
Anthony says, well, I think they should have a lengthy engagement despite the weather. And so the Bridgertons aren't having any of that.
They're probably hoping that it won't come off after all and that they won't get married.
Yeah.
If they have a lengthy engagement, maybe they can talk him out of it.
Right. Because they also don't really want to be associated probably with the Featheringtons as their in-laws, right?
No.
Well, then I love this scene because we get to hear a lovely duet from the two Featherington sisters. One is on the pianoforte
and she can't play anything. I mean, she's playing that one note and she's like,
Let me tell you, it takes great talent to sing as bad as... What's her name?
Yes, it's not Philippa.
Prudence. As horrible as she does, it takes great talent.
Yes,
and it reminded me once
so
again. You know how I said that they reminded me of Cinderella and the Stepsisters? Do you remember in Cinderella where the girl sings, "Sing, sweet nightingale"?
Yes.
I was like, oh my goodness. This is a throwback again,
It was.
So anyway,
yes,
I love
it was
that.
awful.
I was like, well, here we go.
Yes. So Colin leaves the room.
Yes.
He sneaks out, probably
Get
because
away.
he can't stand the hurting his ears. His ears are bleeding. Penn follows him.
Yes.
And she tells Colin, Marina, I have to tell you something. Marina is in love with another man.
Yeah, and he doesn't even care.
He's like, it's all right. I don't mind that she was in love with someone before me.
Yeah, I understand.
And she's like, no, you don't understand. It's not before you. She's still in love with him.
Yes.
And
he's still okay with it. Well, that's okay.
I don't quite understand why he's not like, she is?
No.
I mean, like, I guess he just doesn't, I don't know.
I don't know what he thinks.
I don't know either.
Marina comes in, right? And she
goes,
we moved the party out to the hall.
Right.
And then, she says.
Checking up, because I think she probably doesn't trust Penn.
And so Penn leaves.
And
your mother wants you, and she goes back in.
Right.
And she gets him to agree to.
Marina is, saying, oh, woe is me, no one likes me, my own
just
father sent me away, your family, I thought I'd finally get acceptance and they don't want me. I just wish I could be with you.
Yeah.
And he's like, we could go to Gretna Green and be married right away. Oh, what a great idea. Really,
Yes.
she put the idea into his
we
head.
all know Gretna
Smart.
Green was the place to go for a quick and hasty
Quick
wedding.
marriage. You didn't need any kind of license, nothing.
Right.
Yes, it could be done immediately.
Well, we go back to our two lovebirds, right? And Simon is engrossed in work, so Daphne occupies herself with visiting the tenants.
Yes.
And did you notice before she goes, she's picking flowers in the garden to get baskets ready for them?
Yes.
And the housekeeper comes, oh, what are you doing? Oh, she can't believe she's
Duchess.
kneeling down picking flowers. We'll have someone to do that for you. Your every wish, you know.
She wanted
it's
to
okay.
do it. Yes.
I got it, you know.
Yeah.
But that wasn't proper for her to be doing that. And so she kind of realizes, I need to have a little sit down with the housekeeper. You know, I'm
she's
doing some
disappointing
things
the
incorrectly
housekeeper.
here.
Yes.
I've already messed up with the tenants. And so the housekeeper lets her in on some of the secrets of the former Duke and Duchess's marriage, which is very telling here. This is very important. She says, you know what? Might have not been my lady's fault.
Because
You know,
she
maybe it
couldn't
was
have
the
children
man's
for
fault
so long.
because he had bad seed or something like that. So
Yes.
Daphne is realizing here, wait a minute, this is how children are created. You know, she doesn't
She
even...
thinks. She doesn't know.
She's figuring some things out. And so the wheels are starting to turn in her head, right?
Right.
And so that we leave them there, and we cut back to Penelope.
Right. Penelope is at home, faking being sick.
Yes.
That's so funny. And she wanted to stay home so she could snoop.
Yes.
So she goes snooping. She finds a letter, which all this leads her to believe it wasn't actually George, your lover, who wrote the letter to...
He might still love you.
He might still love you.
Yeah.
And Marina says, well, it doesn't matter at this point. He's not here.
I haven't heard
and
from
Colin
him.
is.
And Colin is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's like done with him. And Penelope thought, here's my out. She's not going to go with Colin after all because her love is still in the picture, possibly.
But Marina comes to the realization right there, you're in love with him. And she lets
Penn's
her
like,
down, and not gently.
No. And she says, you know, this is all a fantasy.
This is for your own good, but I'm telling you right now, he doesn't
care about you.
Alive,
he thinks about you as a sister.
Which is crushing for Penn.
But in one sense, I was kind of like, well, someone kind of needed to tell her. Because she was like, Colin's not looking at her that way. He's just not. And that's what she said.
But in Penn's mind, maybe he's not because Marina's there.
Maybe.
You know, and maybe if she were out of the picture.
Well,
I'm sure that's what she thinks.
Perhaps.
Well, anyway, we're back to Daphne and Simon. And Simon is spending far too much time with his books.
Yes.
And
There's
they
a
end
lot
up
to
playing,
be done.
Yes, they end up playing a game of whist.
On the desk?
Yes. And Daphne realizes something about what has been going on during all of their whist games.
Because
she hasn't noticed before.
Yes, it's
and
more obvious, I
she rushes
think.
out of the room. She runs down to her maid, down to Rose, and says, give it to me straight, Rose.
Right.
How does a woman get preggers? How does a woman come to be with child? And of course, you know, Rose tells her. And so... That was completely out of character. I apologize,
not
dear.
in the script, dear.
Not Regency talk, but so you know, right after that they're having dinner.
Yes.
And did you notice they're seated back at opposite ends, which I thought was a metaphor. And
Daphne's pulling back because she's like, "What is going on?
Something's going on here." And when she goes to bed, when they go to bed, she actually goes to sleep. And he says,
pretends.
He's not mad. Oh, sweet little thing. She must be tired. She's not even asleep.
Which, for pity's sake, no whist tonight.
Exactly.
Of course, they already had it on the desk, but
well, that's not enough for them.
Only once.
Yeah, right. Well, you can see on her face the next evening when she goes to bed. She's got a plan.
Yes,
she's
she is a woman with a plan.
She's resolute about what she's going to do, right? And the music they play fits perfectly. What is it? Keep going with some of the lyrics, you know. And so as they're playing whist, this music is going, and
he seems very happy.
But then he realizes what she's done, right? She's not happy. She has ticked off. And she says, you lied to me.
And she said, I
trusted
was
you.
hoping it wasn't true.
Yeah, and the big thing she says here is, cannot and will not are two entirely different things. And I think...
That is exactly what I said.
Yes, that's the crux of the matter right there.
Like my husband and I were talking about this because he was watching. He's like, why are you so mad at him? He told her when they got engaged, I cannot have children. You won't have children with me, right? And so she thought, okay, that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make to be with you. But
no.
Again, it's cannot. He said, I cannot. And she thought, well,
and
okay.
She's thinking, poor guy.
I'll sacrifice it to be with him. Yes.
You know.
But that's so different than I will not. Like, he's doing that to her. Right. So, he, you know.
And she says, you don't love me. That's not the meaning of love. You tricked me. You know,
yes.
That's not love.
You
she
tricked me.
To the bed and
yes.
says, that's not love.
What you did.
And I
what you
that.
did. Yes.
And as Lady Whistledown says, all is fair in love and war, but some battles leave no victor.
Very sad.
Yes.
Because we see them starting to
crumble and pull apart.
Yes. And this moment we see Penn now that She saw the suitcase for Gretna Green.
And she's just been told by
it's over,
Marina
that
he
doesn't love you. So she runs back to her friend, kind of makes up with Eloise, who welcomes her with open arms.
Yes.
She cries. She is sobbing so loud.
Yes.
She's like, shh.
Yeah. So that was a sweet moment between them. She just kept hugging her and trying to comfort her. And then the big moment. Lady Whistledown exposes Marina
the next
to
morning,
everyone, right?
They
right
wake
as
up.
they're about to run away to Gretna Green.
Yes,
she had her
they're both so happy running down the stairs.
Smiling down the stairs.
I almost felt a little sorry for her.
I almost did too.
I really did. At that moment, she was. I mean, she's been sneaky and she's been,
but she's also a woman in a horrible position.
And we talk about that later in another episode. But yes, I did just feel a little bad for her there. And she was so happy, and then
there's a wonderful quote right here, though, right? And we're left with these parting words of Lady Whistledown. I ask you, can the ends ever justify such a wretched means? And I saw this as not just Marina and what she's done, but as Daphne. I think, I think that Lady Whistledown in this part is also meaning Daphne. Like, can the ends justify the means of what you just did to your husband?
Because he's mad at her too for what she did. It's not just she's mad at him. It's Yes, well...
Everything comes crashing down right here. Yes. Penelope's in tears, Marina's ruined, Colin's heartbroken, and Daphne and Simon are on the outs.
Oh, dear. Well, dear viewers, there you have it.
Yes.
All is in disarray. And will it ever be righted? Well, you'll have to tune in next time to the Sisters Sanditon as we review episode 7, and we shall find out.
Yes, we shall.
So
hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, please join us, and please subscribe, and like, and comment, and tweet, and follow us on Facebook, and all of that.
We'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
It's too tight. I can't take this. How did they wear these things? Oh my gosh, I'm not kidding. Like, I can't breathe, and my lungs are hurting, and so are my ribs.
Get it off of me! It's not even real!
It is tight!
It's not even like a real corset.
It's too tight!
Oh my gosh.
I can't breathe!
Are you joking?
No! I'm serious! Could you please loosen this? I cannot do the episode like this. I need help. I'm taking the thing off.
You're not. You should do no such thing. Come here and sit down.
I can't.
All right. Here we go. Gee, I don't even have to sit back on the chair. This thing just holds you up. Props me right up.
This is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever worn in my entire life. How did they wear these all day, every day?
Get used to it.
Let's go.
An orange and a half.
And the Taylor Swift song Wildest Dreams is playing. Tangled up with you all night, burning it down.
Are those the words?
Yes, they are, my dear. Just about perfect, wouldn't you say?
Oh, boy. That's what they did, all right.
Yeah, you got that right.